All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Potential Project. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, and I hope you're having an amazing start to your week. So, like I always say, I am super grateful for you guys spending time here with me, whether you're listening or watching this, because hopefully I can provide some value to you. Now, it is called The Potential Project because my mission and my goal is to share ways and ideas and things that we can optimize our time here on Earth. Now, if you've listened to other episodes, we've talked about things like your health, your nutrition, sleep, stress, hormones, a bunch of things that you can physically do to optimize how you're feeling so we don't have gut rot, so that we sleep better, so that we have more energy, so that we can burn fat. We've talked about a ton of things in that realm to improve your life and your overall experience here on Earth. And today, I want to talk a little bit about something different, right? Not so much physical. It has physical attributes, but it's being authentic, right? And the way that I look at it is, I don't believe that you can truly get the most out of your life if you're not being authentic, because the way you're living and the things you're doing and the people that you're spending time with, if they're not authentic to who you truly are and what you truly believe in and who you want to become, well, then you're going to know that and you're going to feel, like you're leaving more on the table. You're going to feel gross about some of the things that you're doing, and it's going to leave you feeling, could lead to anxiety, could lead to depression, and a whole bunch of other things if you are not being authentic. Now, for one example, the reason why I'm sitting here talking to you on this podcast is because I believe something that's authentic to me is having long thought out conversations, like deep conversations. And I like to present this information in the form of a podcast instead of some things like a short form video on social media or a text or a phone call, because I like to get intricate with what I'm talking about and allow ideas to expand on one another, specifically in the form of a conversation. But here I just happen to be talking to you guys through a camera. But that's authentic to me because it seems like weird for me to try to shorten my thoughts up into a little text. Like, yeah, sometimes you have to communicate in a different way, or sometimes I make posts on Instagram. But what feels the best to me is to sit here and either have a conversation with someone else or to the camera talking on some talking points, and not limiting myself to a 20-second window, right? Because when I have conversations with friends, with family, with Gianna, or even a stranger, right? Someone who I just met. I like to have those conversations and ask questions and be inquisitive and allow them to talk and go deeper in on different parts of the conversations, like go layers deep on thoughts. And to me, that is just authentic to me. So, like I said, I feel like being authentic is the only way to get the most out of your life, right? You're going to be at peace knowing that you're doing things, the things you're talking about, what you do for a living, the people you surround yourself with are in alignment with who you really are, right? Have you ever worked at a job where you just hated every second of it, right? Like you had to act a certain way to get the job done. You had to act salesy or do a certain thing that just didn't, you know, align with who you really are. And you felt scummy about it. You felt like you needed to go home and take a shower, or you felt exhausted and drained. Like these are all ways that you can know if you're not living, being authentic, right? To your true self. You're going to be drained. You're going to be feeling like just weird about the whole situation. Like your gut will tell you if you're being authentic or not, right? So there's so many people, I think, that aren't congruent with their authentic self. And what that does is it leads to anger, it leads to resentment, it leads to anxiety, and like I said before, all other problems. Like imagine you wake up, you you could be inauthentic in a ton of things that you do. What you put on in the TV in the morning. If it's not something that truly you care about, right? Then you drive into a job that does not align with your morals, your ethics, your passions. and then you come home and you're with your family and you're lying to them about what you did during the day, or you're just talking about things that aren't your interest, aren't in alignment with who you really are and what you're trying to pursue. You're going to go to bed at night feeling so unfulfilled, and that's not a way of living. And some people just live in this cycle of weeks and months and years of doing that. Now, another example that I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but it's a good example for the point I'm trying to make. Now, if someone is, let's say, homosexual, right, and they are not okay with talking about it, they don't want to tell their parents, they're in the closet about it, that is holding them back from a lot of things, finding the love of their life, experiencing the bliss and joy of just going out in public and not having to worry. Now, I don't know what it's like, or what it would have been like to experience this, so I don't want to step on anyone's toes, because I'm sure they have their own experiences and things like that. But just think about it, right? If you could just be who you truly are and not have to worry about what other people are going to say, because it really, I mean, people are going to say things no matter who you are and what you do. If you can get to the point of being authentic and not caring or not letting it hold weight on you, well, then that's such a freeing experience. Now you're able to go about your day and you don't have that burden and that weight on your mind of what do other people think, because you're just being who you are. Now, once you can get over the concept of being authentic, it comes down to how does this impact your life, right? Now, think about it. When you're doing a job, let's say maybe you don't absolutely love your job, or you don't own your own business where it's specifically in alignment with what you do, but you're authentic while you're doing it. You're speaking your mind about things that you enjoy, or the way that you want to present this job, or the way you want to do your work. You're going to attract other people, places, and things into your life that are also in alignment with that. And that's a beautiful thing. Think about someone who posts on social media a lot. There are tons of different people you probably follow. Some people post about cooking, some people post about real estate. And when the people who are posting on there are authentic with their mission, with their purpose, who they are as a person, their personality, some people are funny, some people are witty, some people are like drill sergeant serious, they're going to attract other people who are like that and who that relates to. So being authentic is like a magnet to other people who are like you, who think the same way, who need the same type of encouragement, who have the same learning styles, who have the same love languages. Whatever it is, you're attracting those people into your life. And that feels great, because then you either make friends, acquaintances, business partnerships with people that are in alignment with who you are and what you stand for. And that enables you to get more work done, to enjoy people's company more, right? If you have friends who are all the same type of person as you are, you fall into that niche, that group of people, and you enjoy your time more, right? So being authentic, first off, will attract people into your life that are in alignment with who you are, what you stand for, your likes, your dislikes, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be everything perfect, but you're going to get those people into your life. Then you're going to get opportunities from that, right? Like I said, if you're someone who is building a brand on social media, or you're speaking out on a cause, right? You're going to get opportunities that come your way, because you're going to attract those people and those opportunities that are in alignment with your mission. People feel the the connection of authenticity, whether it is in person, whether it's on the phone, whether it's through written text, whether it's through social media posts. It really doesn't matter. People have this innate response and this ability to spot that out and know when someone is being authentic, right? You ever around a group of people and someone who you know very well is around these new people, right? Like you're friends with Joe, and when you and Joe are alone or just hanging out, Joe acts a certain way. But then when he's around Rich, Jim, and Sally, he starts to talk a little different. and he starts to say some different things, and like you can feel that, right? You're looking at him like, hey Joe, what the heck's going on? Like, you act so calm and so natural when it's just us, but then when we're around these people, all of a sudden things change, right? So what's up with that? And that's them being inauthentic, right? They feel like they have to change based on these new people that are around, and that just doesn't feel good. So you attract the people, you attract the opportunities, and you're bringing out the best of yourself. Because let's say you're an artist, or like you have a specific skill, right? Let's use the artist for an example. Whether you're a musician, a painter, whatever, and you really love to, let's say you love to make hip hop music, right? And that's your passion and that's your authentic self. And you're over here thinking you need to fit in this box to go make rock music, right? And you really don't like rock music. You're a talented musician, so you can play the guitar and you're doing those things. But the rock song, it's just like, meh. Like, not many people like it. It's a decent song, but in your free time when no one else is watching, you're mixing beats and you're making this great hip hop song that if you were to release that, many other people would love it because it's coming from your authentic place. This happens with any type of art. If you're a writer, if you're a videographer, right? When you're doing something that is not your authentic self, other people will not gravitate towards it, right? That means whether it's shares and likes on social media, whether it's people getting value out of it. Like if you're just trying to present something and you're talking out of your butt, so to speak, no one's going to attach to that and find meaning and purpose in it and want to extract the value from it, right? If you're writing a book and you're showing your genius and you're being authentic about who you are and the things you're passionate about, people are going to read that book. People are going to enjoy that. So therefore, you're going to grow and you're going to get more opportunities from those things. So as you can see, we're talking about opportunities at work. We're talking about your personal life with your friends. The same thing goes with your relationships, right? Like if you go on a first date with somebody and you're putting on this front of someone who you're not, right? Talking about things that you don't normally talk about, trying to act like you're perfect, and presenting this like perfect person, so you hope that the other person on the date will like you and want to go on a second date or pursue the relationship. Well, that's not cool, because number one, if they do and they go on a second or third date, eventually they're going to find out who the real you is, and then that's going to seem scummy in the end, because they were going after the person who they thought you were, and then when it turns out that you're not that person, they're going to leave, they're going to be frustrated, like something bad is going to happen, and you're not going to want to put up that front for the rest of your relationship or your life. And then on the flip side, if you are yourself and you accept your, you know, imperfections and things like that and are okay with that, and you meet someone who is okay with that from day one, well, then you make a really strong bond, and those lead to great relationships, whether that being with friends or your individual relationships, whether that be your wife, your husband, whoever. When you are yourself and you're not trying to change who you are around them, that's when the deepest connections and the longest lasting relationships, in my eyes, happen. So I hope you guys are seeing that there are many different ways. Like being authentic shows up in every single area of life. And I mentioned this at the beginning, but I just want to reiterate ways to acknowledge this, right? It is all in your gut, in your subconscious, in your feelings, whatever word you want to use to understand that it's innate in your being. Like, you don't have to ask anyone a question, right? You don't need to ask your buddy or your mom, like, am I being authentic? Like, right? If you had a conversation with someone, or that situation where you're acting different around different friends, you don't need to ask, hey, was I acting weird? Like, you just know. Or if you put out a book or a song or whatever it is, your art, your painting, your drawing, your video, if that is coming off as yourself or as someone who you're portraying yourself to be. And all you have to do is start to acknowledge that, right? And step back and be in alignment, because you're not helping anyone and you're not helping yourself by being someone you're not, by doing things that aren't authentic to yourself, by acting and talking a certain way. You're not helping anybody. And as you can see, I mentioned multiple examples of how, like the relationship example, how it's so much better to just be yourself and accept that than to put on this front of someone you're not. That it would be even stupid to try it, to attempt to act like you're someone who you're not. And here's another great example: comedy, right? Who are the people that we feel like are the funniest, right? Whether we're talking about shows or stand-up comedians specifically, you watch a stand-up comedy show, and the people who you were on the floor laughing are the people who relate to you the most, who are talking about their insecurities and the things that they do in life that might seem stupid, or that, their family deals with, or that, they do on a personal level, and they're just able to talk about it in a funny way, but it's exactly related to who you are. You had those same thoughts, or you experienced that same thing with your spouse or your kids or your pet, right? They have these stories that they tell, and you're like, oh my God, this is me, right? Those are the people who you find are the funniest. That's because they're being authentic to themselves, and you just happen to relate to it, right? Not every comedian is everyone's favorite comedian, because everyone's different, right? You might get a woman who talks about, what it's like being on her period or something like that. Well, I'm not going to find that as funny because I'm not that woman, right? But the people who deal with that situation specifically are going to relate. So again, I can talk about this for hours, about how being authentic shows up in every area of your life, and how it's so beneficial to just step back, do things from your heart, do things from your gut, and what feels right to you, because it's only going to lead you in a direction towards your highest self, right? And to get the most out of life, where you're not stressed and you're not worried about, oh my God, should I say this or should I say that? It's just you being you. And that goes a long way. So I hope you guys can take this and see how maybe you're being authentic or inauthentic in your life, and start to make some changes. So I hope you guys take this message and have a great week, and maybe make some adjustments. And if you know anyone who can benefit from this message, please send them the link, share this video with them. Whatever way I can help you, send me a message, talk to me about topics that you'd like to talk about. I'm here for you guys. That is the only reason I do this. So I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time.